Of course, the day after I make Pokemon videos and upload them, we get new information. Pokemon! 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 Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY anime discussion. Today we're going to discuss a little bit of the Chespin episode that's coming out tomorrow, or later today, or hopefully I will upload this before the episode, but this is a little pre-speculation. Then we have to talk about Mega Evolution Act 4, and we got to talk about another thing about Chespin evolving possibly. And then we need to talk about some data broadcast Pokemon. So let's jump right in. Okay, apparently the people who make the summaries don't know what they're talking about when they make the summaries. First summary error we had was that Noibat was going to hug Ash and Pikachu at some point in the episode. It only turned out to be Ash. Then the Pumpkaboo evolving into Gurgeist episode said that Pumpkaboo was taken by the butler that had the Gurgeist along with Pikachu, and that's how Team Rocket were going to get into the episode, but that's not what happened. Now we have a summary that says that Chespin and Bunnelby find a wallet, but as it turns out in the summary, that coin purse actually belongs to Clement. I don't know how accurate this is or not. I'm only judging it by text, but it seems that Clement is giving Chespin that coin purse. I haven't seen the Get TV preview. I don't know if there is one on YouTube, but I'll make a correction if I can find it. If I can't find it, I guess we just have to wait till the episode, but it seems my initial prediction was right, that Clement was going to give Chespin and Bunnelby the coin purse to buy the parts that he needs, because I was wondering why Chespin and Bunnelby are just walking along without any coin purse, and then they find someone else's wallet, especially when they have to go buy things for Clement. So that's messed up. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of Chespin in this episode. I'm leaning towards it not evolving, but I'm not really sure, and I'll get to why after I talk about the Mega Evolution Act 4. But first, a little bit of speculation. I expect a lot of the group's Pokemon to show up because I think Fletchinder is confirmed by the VA list to be in this particular episode, the Chespin episode. And then we also saw Frogadier and Hawlucha, so maybe we'll see Noibat, since Noibat and Fletchinder share a VA list, or a voice actress. It's kind of hard to say for certain what's going to happen. So basically what we're just going to get is something similar to the Sunny Shore Tower episode where Grotle evolved, only nothing is going to evolve. It's going to be where there's going to be Blackout and Clement, Brock, and Dawn. Serena and Bonnie are going to help out with the Pokemon Center. Clement's going to do the best he can with what he has, probably using some sort of temporary generator or riding a bicycle like Flint and Brock did. And then Ash will be, of course, it won't be like the Sunny Sword Gym, because it'll be revolving around Chespin and Bunnelby. So Ash will be there helping as well. Like we saw in the first preview, we saw him like putting the roof back together, so maybe there was a lightning bolt that struck and Ash is helping repairing it. So yeah, that's what the role is. And then Chespin and Bunnelby will go off and having their own adventures, trying to get the parts that Clement needs to get everything running up. So should be an interesting episode. I'm looking forward to it, because maybe something interesting will happen. But I guess we'll have to see. So anyway, I think that's it. There's really not a lot to speculate. Outside of that, maybe Fearow belongs to some bad person, and it goes around stealing things. Maybe Team Rocket has something to do with the Fearow, in the same sense of Grumpig in Gumi's evolution episode into Slagoo. So I think that's pretty much it. So now let's talk about the Mega Evolution Act 4. We actually surprisingly got a preview for Mega Evolution Act 4, and we actually got to see that Blobby Pokemon. You know, and I'll of course show some images here, and it's pretty interesting that they're just going ahead with this. I have a little bit of speculation, but first I want to address something. I cannot believe that I made a mistake and said in my game, or my Pokemon discussion with the Malva theory, I cannot believe I made the mistake of saying that she had Talonflame and Houndoom. When I meant Pyroar, by the way, I did meant Pyroar, but I just thought Houndoom because it kind of sounded like it would be a Pokemon that Malva would have. And then it turns out in Mega Evolution Act 4, Malva is going to appear, and she has a Mega Houndoom. I don't know if this means that she's going to have a Houndoom in the next games, or if this is just because it's the only possible Pokemon that Malva can have that can Mega Evolve, because there's not a lot of fire types. There's Charizard, Blaziken, Camerupt, Houndoom, and I think that's pretty much it for fire types that can Mega Evolve. I'm probably missing something, but it's usually just, I think it's just those four. Charizard, Blaziken, Camerupt, and Houndoom, and I suppose they didn't want her with Houndoom, because I'm not sure if it would have made any sense to have her having a Camerupt. Did I say Houndoom? I meant Camerupt. So they gave her Houndoom because it would have made more sense, and it's similar to Pyroar. If we consider Pyroar being relating to Houndoom, Pyroar and Houndoom, then Lysander having Pyroar would at least possibly indicate Malva having Houndoom or whatever. So it does make some sense. So, but I guess that's pretty. But that's it for Malva. I'm still surprised about that, by the way. But anyway, what else we have is that Blobby appears, and it's pretty interesting. We got to see some of the Mega Evolved Pokemon within the preview. We saw Mega Bayonet, and Bayonet's trainer looks creepy. Hopefully I'll get a screenshot, but it looks creepy. I don't know what to describe it as, but I'm sure there was one game that I played. I'm thinking it was Zelda Majora's Mask, and the trainer looks a lot like that one ghost ninja type, samurai type enemy that you fight that has like honor after you defeat it, like says thank you for beating me or something, or it's like called a Garo, I think. It kind of looks like that a little bit. There may be a better example somewhere, but Bayonet's trainer looks very creepy. And I can't think of who it would be. I can't think of any major person that has a Bayonet. I mean, Phoebe of the Elite Four might have a Bayonet, but I don't know what Phoebe would be doing here. She should still be in the Hoenn League, so, or the Hoenn region, but I guess it could be Phoebe, but I don't know if Phoebe would have a Mega Bayonet. I think all the Elite Four at some point in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire have Mega Evolutions. Like I think Sydney has a Mega Sharpedo, but I don't think Phoebe's is Mega Bayonet, or is it? My internet doesn't seem to be working, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to it, but yeah. But I don't think it's Phoebe. I think it's just some random trainer. But it is very interesting that the trainer looks really unique. If it ends up being Phoebe, I'm going to be surprised. But yeah, and then we see Blobby. We see Chespin at least grabbing one of the Blobby, one of the Pokemon, and then they're going. Then we get into some of the confusion of the trailer that I can't quite identify. There are three possibilities. One, at the very end of the preview, we see this very glowing green bright light or whatever, and it could either mean that Chespin is evolving, or Chespin is using Overgrow, or Blobby is doing something. And I have a little bit of theory. I think the preview heavily implied that this Blobby creature is relevant to Zygarde. And I don't want to exactly suggest this, but I think we're going to get our first possible evolution for a legendary, or at least relevant to a legendary. I think under the right circumstances, Blobby could indeed evolve into Zygarde. I think that's what it is. I don't think these small creatures are Zygarde forms, because there was at least 5 in the preview, and I think we saw a picture where there was a lot of them. I think what happens is, under the right circumstances, your Blobby can turn into Zygarde. Maybe not exactly an evolution per se, where you level it up, but basically taking this particular Pokemon and putting it into some certain aspect where it gets hit with some sort of energy of some sort, and then it might transform into Zygarde. I think that's really likely. So I think we're getting like a mix of Fione and Carbink, but something that might actually happen within the games. So it's not quite an evolution, but it can technically be seen as an evolution. It's kind of like an RPG game where you can upgrade your character to the maximum highest level, but you can only do it for that one particular character. So the other ones have to be like second tier or first tier, while this one is like top tier, maximum tier, and you only have one of these items to upgrade your character to the max. Kind of like similar to Fire Emblem Awakening, a game that I have but I can't play because my 3DS that it's downloaded on is broken. I think there are times where you can actually upgrade your character. You have like a knight's emblem, and you can upgrade your character. Kind of like that, where you have a lot of characters, but you can only upgrade these particular characters to the top tier character. I think that's kind of what it's going to be. You're going to take Blobby, you're going to put it in like some sort of like, you're going to put it like next to some sort of energy source, and then there's going to be this energy going around, and then there's going to be this weird thing that happens, and then this Pokemon transforms permanently into Zygarde. I think it's going to be kind of a weird evolution type thing, is what I'm thinking it's going to be. And then Zygarde will then further Mega Evolve or alternative form into that thing we saw where it actually might give off more of these blobby creatures. I'm kind of hoping this blobby creature is indeed a different Pokemon that you can actually catch or have or something, and there's people with multiple, and it'll have its own moves and things. If it is heavily relating to Zygarde, then it's either going to be a ground or dragon type, I think, because I don't know if it would make any sense for a poison type, like I suggested, based on the coloring of that unknown Pokemon, and then having it become a ground dragon. I mean, I guess it could make sense if we consider ground dragon a mythological Pokemon that would take care of the environment, and then something that's a poison to the environment evolving or changing into something that cares about the environment. I guess in that instance it would be okay. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. I mean, Eevee can evolve into multiple types, even though it's a normal type, but I still don't think it's... But I suppose since it's not it wouldn't be a traditional evolution, I guess it could make sense for a poison type. But we still have no idea what's going to happen. So, but outside of that, we don't know, other than Chespin. Marin's Chespin is going to have a major role within Mega Evolution Act 4. I don't remember really seeing Marin, but I'm sure she was there. And Alon we didn't really see. We saw Malva. I'll put a picture of Malva here right now. But yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it for Mega Evolution Act 4, and it seems because we have data broadcast Pokemon for 4 episodes, which is what we need to talk about in a couple of minutes. But here's the thing: there's 5 Thursdays in October where there's an episode, but we only have 4 data broadcast Pokemon. So I think that means that the Mega Evolution Act is going to happen the 29th. And I feel like I predicted this a little bit because I thought the 1st through the 15th would be like, I think, the gym battle, And then right after that would be like the Mega Evolution Act, and then after that would be the arc or something like that, or at least it was either that or November or something. But anyway, I think that's pretty much, yeah, we're pretty good with there. So yeah, then we have some VA signing that seems to confirm that Chespin is going to evolve, because Harrybog is the middle stage, or Quilladin, and it's listed in the VA list. And the importance of this is that only main characters and main Pokemon are listed in this VA list. It's got a picture of like Talonflame. It just has Talonflame. I don't think it has Eevee on there. And it has like Team Rocket, their Pokemon. I think Gergeist was there, and Inkay, and all that sort of thing. And Noibat was on there too. Well, obviously, if Talonflame is there, Noibat would have to be there. And Noibat is on there, but I don't remember seeing Eevee. But Eevee was signed on there, which is something that I will mention. But yeah, basically there was Chespin's VA list who signed it, and then somebody else who where no one could apparently read. I don't want to say we, because I don't know. I can't read Japanese, and I don't know if you can, but people said they can't read the VA list for Harrybog, which is Quilladin, so it seems to confirm that Chespin will indeed evolve. And like I said, it's not some random Quilladin. It can't be Marin's Quilladin because, well, for one thing, Noibat's VA list isn't listed there, so that means that it really doesn't mean anything that Chespin is also on the signing list, and it just does mean that they're two different voice actors or / actresses, and they wanted Chespin's VA list person to be on there, so that's why she, I believe, is on there if it's a girl. But also some interesting news. Apparently, I think it's Bonnie, but the voice actress for Bonnie, the main one, I believe, is pregnant and is going on maternity leave. So I think we're getting a temporary VA voice actress for Bonnie, or Eureka, if you're familiar with the Japanese name. And that VA list is also going to voice Eevee, and I think it's Yuki Kanai, I think, or something of that nature. I will make a text and correct it, but basically she's responsible for doing Eevee and Bonnie at some particular point. But I think it's like ISE, that's one of her names. I think it's her last name or first name. She's the, I think, main person for Bonnie, but she's pregnant and she's going to go on maternity leave, so that's what they do when voice actresses get pregnant. They go on maternity leave. So yeah, we got a temporary change in voice actresses for Bonnie, at least until the main actress for Bonnie comes back. So I just thought I'd mention that. So anyway, then let's oh yes, also what this means is that I am a little confused here. I almost feel like Chespin is going to evolve tomorrow. Now, there are indicators that it's not going to happen because we have a thing with Talonflame and Eevee. But the thing is, even though we don't have Quilladin on that image, we just have Chespin and Talonflame. That would also indicate that Chespin is not going to evolve yet. But Chespin's evolution, if it is indeed Clement's and not Marin's for whatever crazy reason, it at least hints that we're not entirely sure when Clement's Chespin is going to evolve, if it really is Clement's Chespin or Quilladin that is listed in the VA signing of all the other important Pokemon. I suppose in a crazy world they could still be Marin's Quilladin, because her Quilladin could evolve in Mega Evolution Act 4 and might have a big role within the main series when they actually transfer. Judging by the Mega Evolution Act 4 special, though, it doesn't look like my desire is going to be a reality. Like I suggested, I would like at the very end of Mega Evolution Act 4 to have like Ash Ketchum, Ash in it, and then the next episode of X and Y would be Ash meeting with Alon. I don't think that's going to happen anymore, because basically the tone of Mega Evolution Act 4 really wouldn't relate to this. At best, we're going to get like Alon battling a very powerful Mega Evolution of a Team Flare member, and that's how Ash gets involved. But I don't think there's going to be any moment where there's just going to be silence and reflecting, and they're like in a forest area, and then Marin sees Ash, and then she remembers who Ash is, which is something that I would have really liked to see, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, anyway, I just don't think it's going to be Marin's Quilladin that's listed in a crazy world. Maybe Quilladin's voice actress, because I don't know what it is, of Chespy evolving into Quilladin. Maybe that implies that Marin's Chespin might evolve, and that's why it's there, because that voice actress or voice actor was there at the studio at the time of the signing, and was like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm known for Quilladin, you know, whatever, right? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But like I said, I'm not really expecting to wake up tomorrow and seeing that Clement has a biography change. That'd be pretty interesting. Now we're going to get into the fun things that really make it very interesting and very hopeful for me, at least in terms of speculation, is the data broadcast Pokemon. So before I get into the depth of what each episode speculation might be, let me just say all four of them. I'm pretty sure this is in the order. The only thing that I'm really confused on is the first two. They might be interchanged, but I think this makes sense. So the first data broadcast Pokemon, we have Blastoise, which might mean something, and then it might not mean something. I guess we'll just talk about it in a moment. But then the next one is Farfetch'd. That also might mean something very important that we're going to discuss. Sableye is probably the least likely interesting thing that we're going to discuss, but I did see KG Prestige's prediction on this, and you know, it's something that we can talk about. And then the most interesting one, of course, is Meowstic, which is also good news, because if that's the gym battle, then that means that we still have 3 episodes before the gym battle. So like 90, 91, 92, 93 is likely going to be the gym battle, or 92 if you think the Pikachu cosplay episode is a special. So 92, 93, depending on what you think. So anyway, let's jump right back into Blastoise. This could either mean 2 things. It could mean Cybold is going to make an appearance in the anime, because we know he has a Blastoise, and since the Mega Evolution acts are canon with the main series, strong possibility that it could be Cybold's Blastoise that appears. Or the more hopeful possibility, and I'll explain why, is that it is Tierno's Blastoise. Now, when I say that, at some point, I have to step back and be like, well, if Tierno has a Blastoise, that's not really a good thing. That is really not a good thing. But if we considered that this is a few episodes before the gym battle, and we know what's going to happen in the gym battle, or at least we know a little bit of what's going to happen in the gym battle, it seems acceptable, you know? So if it's Cybold, I expect some random episode where maybe Cybold will mention Alon in some fashion or another, and maybe that's how Ash will hear about Alon. I have no idea why that would make any sense, but maybe Ash will or maybe there'll be like a Charizard somewhere. Maybe Ash will see like Mega Charizard X or something, or maybe Cybold will say that Ash is a good trainer, and it reminds him of another trainer by the name of Alon who had a Mega Charizard X, and that's what we'll introduce. I'm not really sure, but at least it is a possibility. But if it's Tierno, then that means we're going to possibly get some interesting things. If it's Tierno's Blastoise, that'll be interesting for various reasons. One, it would mean that Tierno would take that huge leap over Ash, because Tierno already has like Hitmontop and Ludicolo. He also has Raichu. I really don't think at this point Tierno has any unevolved Pokemon. I'm trying to think. He has 5. Yeah, he has Wartortle currently, Raichu, Hitmontop, Ludicolo, and Politoed. So this would mean that he would have a fully evolved team, which would be much better than Ash's current team. I mean, Hawlucha, Pikachu, they could do their job, and if Talonflame were to battle against Hitmontop, then that would be okay, but Tierno, if he has Blastoise, is going to be much better than Ash, and especially since Ash doesn't have Goodra. So if Tierno does show up, I wonder if Goodra is going to be mentioned, and Ash is going to say that Goodra is with its friends in like wetlands and had to get rid of it, or whatever Ash would say. I had to let it go, let it go, let it go. Never coming back anymore. Or something of that nature. But this also possibly means that we might get another battle. And while I would expect Talonflame, I don't think Talonflame is going to do anything against Blastoise. Pikachu could probably do something to Blastoise. Hawlucha, I'm not really sure. Hawlucha will definitely be faster, but I think it's going to be like a reverse of what happened in the previous battle with Wartortle and Raichu versus Pikachu and Goodra, so I don't think Hawlucha is going to do very much. Frogadier, I don't think is really going to do very much against the Blastoise. I mean, it's possible. I mean, Frogadier did beat someone's Grovyle, and I would think even though Sawyer isn't exactly a good trainer, I would think a Grovyle would at least be on par of a Frogadier, and then a Blastoise versus Frogadier, since they'd be more neutral towards each other. Maybe that Frogadier would have a chance, but still I'm not really seeing it. Noibat's probably not going to do anything, but I'd at least like it to battle. So really, Tierno seems like he's going to overpower Ash. But this is good news, though. If this is Tierno's Blastoise, then that might mean we might see another particular Pokemon that is a Pokemon that belongs to Ash might evolve during the gym battle. I think you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to quite discuss it yet. We're going to talk about Farfetch'd and Sableye. So let's talk about Farfetch'd. Now, there's only one Farfetch'd that we know that is in the XY series, and of course that's Nini, or Nene, or Nini, or however you want to pronounce her name. And of course I already made a speculation that I expect her to return, and this seems to be some kind of confirmation. There's no guarantee this is Nini or Nene, but she does have a Farfetch'd, and it wouldn't make any sense for a Farfetch'd to just magically appear. And there's a lot of people also speculating that it is going to be Nini or Nene, because she does have a Farfetch'd. Because I was like, Farfetch'd, that's just a random thing. Isn't there some trainer out there that has a Farfetch'd that would make this make sense? And then I'm like, oh yeah, of course, Nini, Nene. And then I looked at the comments and the forums, and I'm like, yeah, everyone seems to think Nene or Nene is going to come back. And this makes sense if this is Serena's third Pokemon Showcase. The first one she failed, the second one she passed, and then this would be her third one. Does this mean she's going to get a key? Now remember, if I'm not mistaken, she only needs 3 keys. Is she going to get another key? Is Nini, if she's going to appear, is she going to get a key? Or is just Alina going to get a key? Or Jessie from Team Rocket going to get a key? It could go either way. I mean, this is before, so if she gets a key now, she would have 2, and then that way, after Olympia at some point, Serena could afford another loss, and then another win after Ash battles Wolfric, or even before Wolfric, and then the Master Class could be right after that and before the League. I guess we'll have to see. So if Nini or Nene is going to appear, then I expect this to be a Pokemon Showcase, because, as I've already said in my Rivals discussion in regards to Serena's rivals, I did list Nene or Nene as a possibility because she also wanted to be in Pokemon Showcases. So I guess that means that Nene or Nene is going to come back and be an opponent or rival to Serena in this particular episode. Since this is going to be after Eevee, I think maybe we'll get some heavy Eevee focus thing. I'm not really sure. Maybe Eevee will be used in the performance, I think that's it. The performance part of it, I think it's, I'm not really sure. I can't remember the theme performance. There we go. I think it's the theme performance. I think Eevee might be in there because if remember the preview, we saw Serena using her dress that I think she used in the first Pokemon Showcase, I think. So it's not the Florges dress. And then she has Braixen and Pancham, and they're a little bit different than in the first one. So I think it means that Eevee might be used in the theme performance. And based on the opening, I almost feel like we're going to jump back to when Serena first failed. I remember Fennekin tripping over a ribbon and then falling and then failing, and then she just lost that. I think it's going to be a repeat of that, but with Eevee. Well, I don't think Eevee's going to fail, mind you, because obviously if this is the case, then Serena did pass based on the preview, unless Serena's in a coma because she had a stroke because she didn't win, and she's in a coma, and she's dreaming that she went on to the free performance. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think the preview at least confirms that she did pass the free performance, or the theme performance, and she moved on to the next one. So if Eevee is indeed going to be that modeling aspect of the Pokemon Showcase, then of course Serena's going to pass and move on, and then it'll just be either between whoever wins or whatever. So I'm almost expecting her to get a second key, just so that the next Pokemon Showcase she can lose, and potentially the one after that, and then she could win her last one, and then the Master Class could happen. But it's all depending on the circumstances. So if this is not an A, and it's not Pokemon Showcase, which really doesn't make any sense to me, because I don't think Sableye would be that episode, I'm not really sure. I guess it would just be some random far-fetched episode. Maybe because it's a flying type, maybe Noibat will be involved, and maybe Noibat will battle a Farfetch'd. Maybe. But I'm kind of more leaning and hoping for a showcase, just so Serena can get to her next Pokemon Showcase and stuff, and it would be more relevant than... I mean, I know, I would probably prefer Noibat battling against a Farfetch'd than a Pokemon Showcase, but... based on the other data broadcast Pokemon, might as well just be a Pokemon Showcase at this point. So then we move on to Sableye. Now, KG Prestige's theory is pretty sound. If they've reached Anastar at this particular point and they go to the Anastar dial, is it just the Anastar dial? I feel like I'm missing a word, or I'm adding a word to it, but there's some sort of sundial or dial of some kind in Anastar, and it's a big, gigantic thing, and in the games, Professor Sycamore used it to upgrade your Mega Ring, so it's definitely related to Mega Evolution, and basically the thought is Sableye is going to Mega Evolve in this episode, and it's going to be heavily revolved around Mega Evolution. And that would make sense, since we might be getting closer to the Mega Evolution Act 4, as well as Ash and Alon and potentially Mega Charizard Y. So maybe this particular episode, Ash might get some sort of Mega, or some sort of Keystone or something at this particular point. I don't know if Ash is going to have a Mega Ring. I mean, it would make sense, but maybe he'll get like a Mega Glove or something, maybe like Karina, or maybe like a Mega Necklace or something. I don't know what he's going to get, but he's going to get something possibly in this episode that's related to Mega Evolution. That's the only thing I can think of why they would have a Mega Evolution episode right at this particular moment. As for Sableye, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why Sableye. I mean, I guess it could make sense. I mean, it is just a random Pokemon, and maybe they just want to add Sableye, but I don't know. I feel like Kangaskhan would be definitely a lot better, because then Ash could potentially have a battle with Mega's Kangaskhan, and then be surprised because both of the Kangaskhan, it and its baby, could evolve. And I just want to see how Mega Kangaskhan just works in the anime. Mega Sableye, so it gets a giant red gem thing where it uses to defend. I don't know if that's that as interesting, but I guess we'll have to see what's going to happen. So after that, I don't think there's anything other to discuss. If it's not, I have no idea what Sableye is relating to. Maybe Noibat will get a focus. Maybe. Is there anything else? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'm hoping that Noibat will be used in one of these episodes at one point, so we can actually get a battle. I'm hoping for the Blastoise episode that Ash will be training Noibat, and then we'll get to see some moves, if not before then. And then Tierno will just hop on. And maybe this will be the episode Tierno's Wartortle evolves into Blastoise. Maybe that's a possibility as well. But then we need to get into the last data broadcast Pokemon, which is Meowstic. Apparently it's female Meowstic, and this is important because all the other Meowstic, for the most part, have been male. I mean, there was that Meowstic sibling episode where the siblings had the two Meowstic and one was female, but I think this is hinting that they're going to focus more on Olympia's female Meowstic rather than male Meowstic. And because, oh no, what was her name? Mia already had male Meowstic, so maybe they want to focus on the female Meowstic or whatever. This is also interesting because, as I've said, this actually might hint Frogadier evolving into Greninja. At this particular point, Talonflame will happen. Eevee will happen. So therefore, that means Frogadier could evolve in this episode and not have it be wrong in terms of any other merchandise. The only merchandise would be wrong, but I will address that in a moment. But this could be Frogadier's evolution to Greninja, and I hope it is. Based on the preview that we've got so far, Ash sends out Frogadier out of desperation, which means either Ash's other Pokemon have already been knocked out, and Ash is having to rely on Frogadier, or Olympia has a handicap rule where her two Meowstic are battling against Frogadier. Now, I really think Frogadier is battling the Meowstic by themselves because I just can't see why Ash is so upset during the preview, because he didn't look very happy. And I will show an image of that preview. He does not look happy in that image, and he's sending out Frogadier. That doesn't really bode well for the layout of the gym, and I think it's because Ash is down to his last Pokemon in Frogadier. And while it would be cool to see Frogadier beating both the Meowstic, because that would be the coolest thing ever, I just feel like it would be a lot better overall if Frogadier were to evolve. So, and like I said, this doesn't really contradict anything. Granted, Greninja is not in the VA list signing, and it is just Frogadier, I think. But I still think it's a possibility because they can't delay Frogadier evolving. And if their excuse is, well, we just recently evolved Fletchinder to Talonflame, I'm not exactly going to be too happy, especially if Tierno does end up with a Blastoise. This won't matter if that's Seibold's or Seabold's Blastoise, but if it's Tierno's Blastoise, I'm going to be a little upset that they didn't evolve Frogadier in the most important battle, and they're waiting until Chespin evolves. I'm going to be very annoyed if that's going to be the case. Granted, the VA signing list doesn't say anything, and it does have Harrybog. I'm going to have to look to see if Frogadier was listed or not. Maybe my thing will actually be listed here. Okay, my internet seems to be working. Yuji Ueda. So right now, just Frogadier. Okay, so I'm hoping this works. Hopefully my internet will work just enough that I can actually test to see, because I'm going to be very disappointed. No, Frogadier is listed on the VA list. That does not... The only way this will actually turn out to be a possibility, even though there are merchandise confirming that it's not the case, is if Chespin evolves before the gym battle. And the only way this could happen is either in the Blastoise episode, the Sableye episode, or the Farfetch'd episode. That it could evolve tomorrow, And if it does, I'll even be even more ecstatic as a result of that, but I'm not exactly going to be happy. I always would have preferred Frogadier evolving over Fletchinder, because Fletchinder evolving into Talonflame was basically a guarantee. What I don't want is Frogadier to last for a long time, and it evolving during the Psychic type gym would have made perfect sense, because it would have been a dark typing, and it's just going to be another missed moment, missed opportunity that the writers and executive producers doesn't do. I mean, you know, fine. If Frogadier ends up beating both Meowstic by itself, I guess that's something to be admired and triumphed, and then maybe... But I don't know how I feel about this. I really want Frogadier to evolve. And if Chespin has to evolve before then, before Frogadier evolves, then of course Frogadier isn't going to evolve until after Chespin evolves, and Chespin's likely not going to evolve until after the gym battle. We're just going to have to see, but it does not look well. See, if Yuji Ueda wasn't listed for Frogadier, you know, and Harrybog wasn't listed at all, then there would still be... I mean, it would still be false hope if Frogadier didn't actually evolve in the gym battle, but at least there would still be better hope. But see, the thing is, I could have overlooked a lot of things. I mean, sure, Frogadier, Quilladin, and Braixen and Ash's Pikachu basically was on that merchandise, but I could have ignored it. I could have said, well, of course that makes sense because, well, it's all the middle starters. Of course, if Ash had Greninja, they're not going to put Greninja on there, because then that would definitely spoil the fact that Chespin is going to evolve. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it had Greninja, Braixen, and Quilladin, and it had Ash's Pikachu on there? I think that would have been confirmation that Clement's Chespin was going to evolve, and that Frogadier was definitely going to evolve as well. But then let's look at the flip side of it. Of course, if Clement's Chespin wasn't going to evolve, of course they would have added Quilladin into it, because it would have been a little uneven to have Braixen, Frogadier, and Chespin, as I've said before. So it makes sense that it's all the middle starters. But now I'm not really so sure that I can use that as... I'm not sure I could use that logic to say that Frogadier is going to evolve, especially if Quilladin's voice actor is on the list. Now, there is one possibility. I can't remember... well, it doesn't matter because Quilladin's VA isn't listed anyway. If Marin's Chespin does evolve into Quilladin in Mega Evolution Act 4, or we get some confirmation of Quilladin, then there might be still a chance. Granted, the Mega Evolution Act 4 is going to be after the gym battle, but if we get some confirmation before we get any information in regards to Frogadier, then hopefully we'll get Greninja for the gym battle. If not, I'm not really expecting it. I think this is pretty much it. I need to cut it because I need to do other things as well. Got to eat lunch as well. As well. Sorry. I have other things to do. I have to eat as well, and other things as... Jeez. You know, anyway, I'm done for now. I will go in depth in these particular things in future episodes if they required. Actually, let me check to see if there's a VA list for the Braixen episode, so we can get some kind of confirmation of any cool Pokemon that might end up showing up. So, let's see, here we go. VA list, VA. Malo Kojiro's mother. What? Oh, okay. James' mother is going to appear. So we have Ash, Pikachu, Serena, Clement, Bonnie, Dedenne, Jessie, James, Meowth, Wobbuffet, Pancham, Joy, I don't know who Jingaro is, Gallade, and James's mother. Let's see. Nothing new in the summaries. So, I don't know who Jingaro is. Fletchender and Noibat are not appearing in the Breaks in episode, which is a shame. But that's kind of unfortunate. I hate that, but I guess whatever. I guess it's related to Serena, so I guess it doesn't matter. Frogadier could still happen, though. Halucha I don't think is going to... Well, no, Halucha probably could appear. I forget Halucha is James's VA. Shared the same VA with James. So, yeah, we're definitely going to get some James focus here, too. James's mother is apparently going to appear, apparently, I guess. Jingaro is going to appear. I don't know who Jingaro is. Apparently, he might have a Gallade. And Jingaro might be a relative to James. There may be a mansion type in the Kalos region. Because we all know that James's parents are wealthy, rich. They have like mansions all over the regions. I think there's a mansion in Kanto. I think there's something in Johto. There's definitely one. There's actually another one in Kanto because that's when James released Chimecho. And then there was the one in Sinnoh where James got Carnivine, so maybe this is another one. But yeah, Jingaro, woohoo! Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Nothing to discuss. I'll discuss it later after we get a preview. Tomorrow, I will discuss it. Just wanted to let you know now. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.